Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're gonna try to make the FNAF BallPit game from FNAF, what is it? FNAF Pizzeria Simulator. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Okay, so the first thing we can do is just go into the backdrops, and then we can click the square tool. Take off the borders, put this on the fade from up to down, put the first one on first 60, the second one on 70, and the last one on 100. The second one is going to be 55 there, so right there, and 70 here, and 100 there. So now we can just make the background just like that. So we have a fade now that looks pretty good. Now we can make the board that Helpy stands on. So have this one again, and put the first one on 10, the second one on 72, and the last one on 30. The second one is going to be 10 again here, just like that. We have 70, and then we have 30. No, and then we have 40 there. So now we have this. Put that somewhere around there. Don't go too far out or too far up. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So now we can go to the code, delete the scratch cat, make a new one, paint, and now we're gonna make the ball pit. So just name this ball pit. Now we're gonna have to do a pretty similar thing here, but we can maybe turn that down to 20 and this down to 30, so a little bit darker. Make a square just like that. Click the this tool, the edit tool, reshaper. Select just those two and go down a bit and in a bit, so just like that. Take that, copy it, click on flip horizontal and use the arrow key to just put it like that. Yeah, so now you want to copy these and make sure they're in place. You can do this also, go right there. Wait, this doesn't look that right. Okay, copy paste, flip it vertically and put that up. Wait, I accidentally put that up. And now we can go to back layer with these and put this on the one color and have it to the darker one. So now we have the box, and now we need to make the balls. So just make a second costume. You can rename the box to box. This can be ball pit ball. You can select the circle tool, make this one of those. The second color is gonna be the color you have, and this will be a really light version of that. So you can go 0, 100, and maybe like 60 looks good. And this one 0, 100, 60, but then you can do this to just make it maybe 30, and then hold down shift and just reshape it. So that is really big, so make sure it's a good size for this. You can even copy it into here, see how big it is. I think a little bit smaller is good, like that. Now you're gonna just copy and paste this here, make this one green. Okay, so I decided to make a red, a green, a purple, a yellow, and a blue. So if you want the exact numbers, so I made 5 different ones. So now just click copy here, paste in, put it above. So now, just so you can move these two to the back layer when you want, just group them, group these, and then you can just take these, put all of these in a little chunk just like that, copy them, rotate them a bit just like that. We can copy that and just make something like that. And now hopefully we can put everything on the front layer, and we can put this one on the front layer, and now we have a ball pit. Don't take away these costumes, you still need them, but we're gonna go to the code section here. Okay, so we want to go to the backdrop / stage. We want to put in a green flag, put a message, make a new message called game start, and we're gonna click OK. So basically we don't want to have the green flag everywhere, because then we can't recall it with code. So we're just gonna have the game start instead of the green flag clicked almost everywhere. Then just drag out a when I receive game start. We can stop other in this script, other scripts in this sprite, I mean. Okay, so when you have done this, you can go to the ball pit, put a when I receive game starts. We can stop other scripts in this sprite. We can go to 0 and then -135. So now if we change that to that sprite, I think that looks good. So I'm just gonna keep it like that. We can put a switch costume to box. We can go to front layer, and we can have a set size to 100. This won't change, but I will have it like that if I change the size, and I can change this to, let's say, 110, and if I want it that big, it can be that big, but we're gonna have 100. So we're gonna have a show here too, just so it shows. But yeah, that's it for this sprite right now. So we're just gonna make the arrow that points wherever you want to click, so it will go from left to right, keep going super fast, and you can click on space so it stops. So just make a new painted sprite, go in really close, go to this, just have a one color, change this to 0, 0, and then we can have 90. We don't want a perfect white, that doesn't normally look that good. We can change to the square, put it exactly on the square there, just fill in 2 squares, just like that. And then we can do from here, just make a super big square 4x2, just like that. Put the reshaper on, delete one down here, select this one with the arrow key, just put it in the middle. And if you want rounded corners, here, here, and down here, you can just click just like that and delete that, and you will get rounded corners. And why you can't just put on one and click curved, that will happen. So you're just gonna have to make it manually, just like that. And now we have pretty rounded corner. We can do this up here if you want to make it just a little bit better. Yeah, that looks good. So we can change this to 150 to make it pretty big. We can change this to -30 to have a more specific spot. The X is on the X. What? The X is on 0, I mean. But yeah, we can just hop into the code, take a when I receive game start, switch to costume 1, set rotation style to don't rotate. We need that because later we're gonna have it rotate instead of just change direction. Then we can have less code, which is just much better. But yeah, we're just gonna simply put in a stop. We're just gonna put in a stop other scripts in this sprite. Don't forget to save, by the way. Really important. We can change the... No, not change. That will break the whole game. We need to put, or set, in better words, the size to 250. We need to show it. We need to put it on the 0, -30. But the only thing here, we can't have the X on 0, because then when you start, you can just, right as you start, click and get it on the ball pit. So we're just gonna do something like -150, and that looks good. And now, the forever loop is really weird. Stuff lags really much. Not that much, but the repeat until is just better and doesn't lag the game as much. So we're just gonna use that in these small scale projects. It doesn't matter that much, I think. So we're just gonna use a repeat until anyway. And we can have a move 50 steps. Now this is pretty much, but we can use that because it is really fast in the game. So after that we just want a if then, and then we want an or. We have a greater than, and then smaller than or less than. I don't really care. And then we have 209 and minus 209. Go to motion, take the X position, just put that there and there. And then basically we're gonna have a turn. It doesn't matter which one, because we're gonna have it to 180. And this is where we need the set rotation style, because if we didn't, if we had all around, you can see that the arrow would just flip. So we put this to don't rotate and it won't matter. So yeah, up here we can also put a pointing direction if we want it to go a specific direction. I want it to be more random, so I'm just not gonna do that, which I think is much better, so the timing isn't always right. But yeah, we're gonna have another if then. We're gonna have a key space pressed, and we're gonna broadcast a new message called jump, which is basically gonna send out to every sprite that needs to do something when you jump as Lefty. So yeah, we're just gonna broadcast that. We're gonna put a when I receive jump and a stop other scripts in this sprite. Now we want the thing that tells you to press space, because how are you supposed to do it without that? So you can just copy the arrow. You can rename the arrow by the way to arrow. This one will be the press space. We can just type right over this press space in all caps, because that looks best. We can put it right there, and we can now delete the arrow, put this to the exact same Y position as the arrow, so just like that. Put this to 0, and now we have it on a good position. Go into the code, and we can just right away get rid of both of these. We can do that. Put this to 0. Put a repeat until, delete all of these. And we can put a hide on jump. On the repeat until, we can have a control, which is the wait seconds. So 0.1 is a good number. You can change this if you want. This doesn't really matter. This is just aesthetics. Just copy that, put a show. And now when you start, you should have this. So that's the arrow going from left to right and the press space. If I press space, the press space thing will disappear and the arrow will stop. So that's the arrow and the thing that tells you to press space done. We can make a new costume named Helpy. We're gonna do Helpy. Now if you want to draw this by your own, you can do that, but I think it's easier to just have a costume. So what I have done, I have already drawn all of these. That took a long time, so if you guys want a Helpy, you can just click in the description, go to my Scratch page, remix this game, and your free to use this helpy thing in any game you want. Just drag it into your backpack and you can drag it out once you want to do that. So yeah, basically we have helpy here. All the code is done here. I'm gonna remake it to just show you guys how it's meant to be. So yeah, basically when you press game start, why do I have 2 game starts? Okay, good. The game start has been deleted because I went out of the game and in again when there was no block. So just when I receive game start, you can stop other scripts in this sprite. Don't forget to save. You can switch costume to stand 1. If you're making this on your own, you need a stand 1 and stand 2 if you want a little animation. This adds some move to him. I don't know what to call it. But he moves. And then when you press jump, he's gonna look like this. Jump into the sky and he falls down. If you don't succeed, 1 frame is gonna look like this. It adds really much, but if you just blink, you miss it. And then you need a dead position. So just make a stand 1, stand 2, a jump, a fall, a scared, and a dead. So now just put that on stand 1. You can go to, I'm just gonna show this, and I'm gonna just put him there. I'm gonna switch him to the first costume just to see how he is. I think for this one maybe size 40 is better. He's gonna stand on the edge there, make sure he is on the plank. You can just drag out this and do that. And now he should spawn there. Yes, good. We can make a show variable. We can have a if else statement. You can have a greater than 5. And we're gonna make a new variable called rounds. Rounds is gonna be basically there's 5 rounds in each game. So you can make 5 rounds. If you get helpy into the ball pit, you get 100 points and max is 500 points. And if you don't get helpy in, you get 0 points. So it's just like in Pizzeria Simulator. By the way, if you don't have Pizzeria Simulator, it's completely free, so I think you should play that instead of my Scratch game. It's much better. You do have to work for it a little bit, I think. You don't have unlimited play tokens, so yeah. But anyways, back to the tutorial. You can have in the else, you can have a repeat until. You can have a wait 1 second, switch costume to stand 2. Copy this, switch costume to stand 1. And now he should just change every second from costume to costume. Back and forth. So we can go back into arrow. Do you see that there's a broadcast jump when you press space? We need that here with a when I receive jump. We can just stop other in this sprite. So now he will stop the animation if I press space. And yeah, we can just move on to the next thing. Okay, so we can just put on a go to front layer. We can switch costume to stand 2. Wait 1 second. I think 1 second is a good number here. We can switch costume to jump. And we can have a repeat 10. Change the 10 to 6. We can now we need to just make so he jumps up. So we're just gonna have a change x by -4. We're gonna change y by 20. Now we can see if that's a good number. I think maybe make a repeat 5. He just needs to touch the ceiling with yeah, no, exactly like that. Scratch won't let the sprites go further up than that, so we're just gonna stop there so it doesn't get stuck. And then we're gonna have a hide, which makes the illusion of it jumping into the ceiling. So if you look up here, he jumps up. So we can have after that a hide. Wait, what? Okay, so after that we can have a go to arrow, and now it will spawn it'll be right there, but we don't want that, right? We want it falling from the ceiling. So we're just gonna put the helpy up on the ceiling just like that, and we can have a set y to that, which is the exact same as here because it just copies it. So yeah, now you can just have it go to up here. So if I just do this, press space, it will jump, and if I show it now, it will be over that. So yeah, after that we want it to switch to costume fall because it's falling now. Wait 2 seconds. It will wait 2 seconds up in the ceiling before it shows and starts falling down. Now it will show. Put in a repeat 11 and change y by -25. So this will basically just make it fall down to there. Now you can see it will touch here, but not fall down to the bottom. So now you can see it does that, and just down to there. So now we need to check with a if then else. If touching BallPit. So if it's touching the BallPit, it will signal the BallPit animation. If it doesn't, it will keep going until it touches the floor, and it will trigger the dead animation. So just put in a stop other scripts in this sprite. You can broadcast the new message, which will be called BallPit, just like that. Now we have the BallPit broadcast. We can hide. We can change rounds by 1. So that will change the round every time it goes into the ball pit. We will also change it if he lands on the floor. But yeah, we can have a wait 4 seconds before it respawns. So just the respawn, and this is where the game start comes in. So we can call the game start instead of just pressing the green flag. So if I just click that, it will start. But it will not reset all the rounds or points. So now in the else, you can put a switch costume to scared. This will be on 1 frame, so it will be really quick. Actually, it will be in 2 frames, I think, because we have a repeat 2 and change y by -25, and then we can have a switch costume to dead, because he's dead now. You can change the rounds by 1 again, because he touches the floor. That means it will start over, but with a new round. Same as before, wait 4 seconds and broadcast game starts. So now we have a loop here. You can press space. If it doesn't touch it, I think, okay, it touched it, so it will just disappear. But if we go like there, it will die. So the problem here is that if you get into the ball pit, there's no animation, he just disappears. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're just gonna go into ball pit again, and we can have a thing that gets called for ball pit. So just repeat 5 and create clone of myself. That will create a clone of itself, and this is where all of these costumes comes in, because it can change those as a clone separately, so we can have a bunch of different balls without having to make more costumes. So now, this is a pretty long script. It will not take that long time, and it's not that much, but it's pretty much for just 1 clone. So just go to, and this will be the same as the sprite, and then we can have a switch costume to. Now here's where you need to count all the balls. So there's 5 for me. Take out a random, pick random from 2 to 6, because I have 5 and there's plus the first one, which is the ball pit. So now it will just change to 1 random costume of the balls, and we need to point in a direction. Pick random from -45 to 45. So it will not go the exact same way every time. So yeah, we need to have a repeat until touching edge, which is on the touching, and just put this to edge. So if it touches the edge, it will disappear, because we will have a delete this clone under the repeats. Now we have to put stuff in the repeat so it does touch the edge. So just move 7 so we can rotate it and move it in the direction it is pointing. We can have a if then, put in a or, a greater than, and another greater than. We can put the second one to 180, and we can put the first one to 180. It doesn't really matter which one of these you make, just put the stuff on the right side. So you can put the direction in the empty spot and the direction on that spot. So if direction is more than 180 or the direction is less than 180, so everything except for 180, then it's gonna check if then again, and we're gonna have is greater than 0. And then we're gonna have a turn that way and turn that way. And 7 and 7. You can also do a 7 like that and a -7, because those are basically the same blocks, but I'll just use these things. So yeah, that's it for the clone. So now you should see if I get into the BallPit, it will just make that. I don't know why it does that. Oh my god, wait, I'm just gonna wait a moment. I can. Okay, so I actually forgot to put the direction there, and that's why it didn't work. So now it should work. No, I wait. And he's dead, of course. Just gonna have to redo that. Okay, please. Oh my, there it is. Yes, good. It doesn't look that good. It does work though. What you can also do is just make this a higher number, so let's say 120 maybe, and it will just spawn at a higher spot. So yeah, that works. It's not the best, as I said. It does work though, and it's better than nothing. So yeah. So you might have noticed we don't have any points yet, so that's what we're gonna do now. Just make a new sprite, make a text with the pixel, make a white one. I'm gonna do 0, 0, 90, and we can do a 0, just like that. So you can have 0 points, 100 points, 200 points, 300 points, 400 points, and 500 points. We're gonna go into the code. This is really not that much code, so just a when green flag clicked, switch to costume 0. We don't want to start on 500, 400, 300, 200, or 100. We want to start on 0. And that's only gonna happen one time, so under the green flag we can drag out the game start and put out a show. We're gonna have a when I receive BallPit, we're gonna change a new variable that's named points. Okay. So we're just gonna change points by 1. And then we're gonna update it by putting out a switch costume to plus points here in the first one and 1 there, because we don't want to have 0 on 1 and 100 on 2. That's completely wrong. So just that's the exact right, because if we have 0 points, we're gonna go to costume 1, which is the 0. So that's completely intentional. But yeah, that's it for now. So now if we put this maybe up here, we can change it to maybe 400 so we can see better. We can change the size to maybe 50. A little bit smaller, I would say, maybe 35. That looks really good. We can have a go to that spot on game start. So now we have the points up there. We can see if these works. It starts on 0. We miss. It should not do anything. Good. It doesn't do anything. And then in the ball pit, I got in on the first try, yes. It changes to 100 and we can do it again. And it should change to 200, yes. But we don't want to get infinite points, and we can't even do that because we don't have enough costumes. You can make infinite costumes or make a counter if you want to make infinite points, but I don't. So we're gonna make a round system. So just go into helpy, and this is where the rounds go in here. So when you have when rounds is more than 5, 6 on game start, we can broadcast a new message. We can broadcast a new message called end. We can click OK, and we can wait 0.1 seconds, and then we need to stop all, not stop other scripts in this sprite. We need to stop all, but we don't want to just have this screen when we are done. We want to show our points. So now we need to just copy this backdrop. We can delete this and simply do the text again. Good. Now we have all the different points you can have. So before you do anything here, we just need to change backdrop to 1. Actually, I'm gonna put it on here because we don't want it to always change. But yeah, we need to take away this because we actually don't need that. I accidentally hit my mic, sorry. But you can put in end here. When I receive end, we need to switch to backdrop, and then we have the +1 and, like before, points like that. And also we And also we want the points and rounds to reset every time we start, so just set points to 0 and set rounds to 1. So that's it for the rounds. There's a bug I don't know how to fix when I need to hide everything. We're gonna tackle that later, but right now we're just gonna do a end and then hide. We can just put this in everything by dragging it in, just like that. We have it in every sprite here. Yep, and that's the final one. The arrow in my test project at least didn't want to like disappear, so I'm just gonna make a new costume with nothing on it and make it change to costume 2. So now if we do just play the whole game, much easier than the Pizzeria Simulator version, but yeah. Okay, so now it should, yes, okay, but the arrow doesn't want to change. I don't know why. The arrow is just weird. But yeah, you can also make it maybe go to 0 and minus 999. Then it will just go down here. And if we just, I can test it by dragging out this, putting the rounds to 5, and now just okay, and then it should. Why does that not work? I don't know, but you guys get it, and I think it's okay. This is my first Scratch tutorial. I think this is a good beginning at least. Hope you enjoyed. Follow me for more Scratch tutorials or other stuff. I do have a gaming channel that will be in the end screen, probably like above something. Put it above. No, you know what? Below the 0 right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. My throat is hurting so much. I've been talking for almost an hour now. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.